Discover the incredible moment, a teen's heartwarming call to his dad changes life forever. In the tiny town of Maplewood, where everyone knew everyone else's name and their struggles, Jamie's heart felt like it was carrying the weight of the world. A flip phone in hand, he paced the cracked sidewalk, the evening wind whispering secrets of the past. Inside, his chest tightened. His mother's laughter echoed in his mind, haunting yet beautiful. Since she passed, life had turned into a fog of grief, and tonight, Jamie was desperate for clarity. Swallowing hard, he pressed the call button, hoping this simple act could change everything. "Hello." His dad's voice came out ragged, like a ghost trapped in his throat. Jamie could almost feel the weight of his father's silence on the other end. He forced the lump in his throat down. "Dad, it's me." The words tumbled out, spilling his fear and sorrow like a broken dam. "I can't do this anymore. Lily keeps asking about Mom. And school. I'm failing. I don't want to let you down." It was his heart before his head, an explosion of raw emotion that ignited a spark of recognition in Mike. On the edge of sorrow, Jamie caught his breath, hearing Mike's raspy breathing. Each inhale was a promise of healing they both desperately needed. "I'm here, son." Those words wrapped around Jamie like a warm blanket, sowing tiny seeds of hope in their fractured relationship, but just as their bond began to mend, Maplewood's judgment clawed at Jamie's back. Whispers floated through the community like unwanted shadows, pitying glances aimed at him like arrows. "Look at Jamie. Can you believe his family?" The stares from the neighbors stung harder than he could imagined. Jamie craved acceptance. It was time to show the town they hadn't lost everything. "Let us go to the veterans event," Jamie suggested, surprising even himself. The thought of standing side by side with his dad, facing the community together, was daunting yet exhilarating. As night fell, the atmosphere crackled with energy. Cheers erupted as veterans were honored. For a moment, Jamie felt proud, watching Mike stand tall. He was more than just a man with a past, he was a hero. But just as hope began to bloom, frustration flared. "You're not around, Dad. You never were." Jamie's voice, thick with emotion, shattered through the crowd, and suddenly their shared strength turned toxic. Faces turned, ears perked. Every stare felt like daggers. Mike's voice trembled, and that singular moment of connection crumbled under the weight of years held inside. The tension rose, and Jamie stormed away, disbelief fueling every step. Pain and regret knotted in Mike's stomach as he watched his son walk further, leaving a gap that felt insurmountable. In that heart-wrenching silence, both father and son were left to grapple with family loyalty's ache. Was it blood that made it family, or was it shared grief? Have they lost their chance to find a new path together? As the night continued and those old war songs filled the air, Jamie's heart beat louder with unresolved questions. Could they truly reclaim what was lost, or would the ghosts of their past remain forever unbroken? Jamie's footsteps fell heavily against the pavement, each step a reminder of the emotional storm churning inside him. He could feel the weight of the town's stares on his back, the whispers slicing through the night like a sharp knife. He didn't care about their opinions, he just wanted his dad to understand the depth of his pain. The cool air bit at his skin, but the chill in his heart ran deeper. Trees swayed above him, their branches waving like familiar friends, but he felt utterly alone. He couldn't even understand why he lashed out like that in front of everyone. It wasn't just anger directed at his dad, it was a lifetime of disappointment, frustration, and sadness swirling inside him. "I can't believe I said that," he muttered to himself under the flickering street lamp. "What's wrong with me?" Sitting on the curb, he buried his face in his hands, hot tears spilling down his cheeks. Moments later, he heard footsteps approaching. He half expected to see a friend, but when he looked up, it was Lily, his younger sister, her face a mix of concern and confusion. She had always been the innocent light that broke the shadows of their home, and in that moment, she was Jamie's only anchor. "Jamie?" she whispered, her small voice quaking slightly. "I was looking for you. Everyone's worried." Jamie wiped his eyes, trying to catch his breath. I'm okay. Just wanted some air. He winced at his own lie. The truth was far more complicated. Lily sat down next to him, her little body pressing against his. You weren't okay up there. You were really mean to Dad. Her words struck him like ice water. I didn't mean to be mean. He looked at her, desperate for her understanding. He never listens. It feels like he doesn't care. But I know he does, Lily replied, her voice softer now, filled with a wisdom surprising for a child her age. He's sad, too. We all are. Mom wouldn't want us fighting. Sighing, Jamie leaned back against the curb, contemplating his sister's words. I know, I just wish things were different. I want Dad to be the way he used to be. Lily nodded, her brow furrowing. Maybe we can help him. We can be a team. The idea shifted something inside Jamie. What if instead of pushing away, they pulled together? His heart swelled a bit at the thought of uniting with Lily to reach their dad. You're right, he said, a small smile breaking through his earlier clouds of doubt that he stood, brushing dirt from his jeans. Let us find him. They walked back toward the crowd, each step filled with purpose. As they approached the gathering, Jamie spotted Mike leaning against a wooden railing, shoulders slumped, expression hollow. It hurt to see their dad like that, broken, just like them. Dad! Jamie called, his voice steady but laced with uncertainty. Mike turned, his eyes wide with surprise and concern. Jamie's heart raced as he closed the distance, taking Lily's hand in his. It was now or never. Can we talk? Jamie asked, feeling the weight of the words hang in the air like a fragile promise. Mike's expression flickered hope mixed with fear. Of course I'd like that. The moment felt monumental, like they were stepping into a new chapter together, a chance to navigate the murky waters of their grief as a family. But just as Jamie prepared to speak, a shout rang out from the crowd, cutting through the atmosphere, pulling them back into reality. Everyone! We have a special announcement. Come join us. The call hung in the air, and Jamie's heart sank. He wanted to dive into their conversation, but now the moment was slipping away. As he exchanged a glance with Lily, he felt the urgency. They had to act before the tide of public life swept them away again. Okay, let us do this together, he whispered to her, and she nodded, her eyes shining with determination. With every step towards the crowd, Jamie knew this was not just a chance to mend the bond with his dad. It was a chance to heal, a chance to reclaim their story before it was too late. But as they moved forward, he couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was about to unfold, something that would thrust their family into the spotlight they never wanted but desperately needed. What awaited them just ahead, hidden amidst the cheers and clamor? As they reached the crowd, Jamie felt the rumble of excitement pulse through the air. The lights were strung high above, illuminating smiling faces and the fading remnants of evening warmth. He could hear laughter mingling with the sound of music playing from a nearby speaker. For a second, the chaos soothed him, but it didn't erase the urgency that burned inside him. Everyone was gathering around the makeshift stage at the town square. The town mayor stood with a microphone, waiting for the chaos to settle. Jamie's heart raced as he caught sight of Mike, who was looking beyond him, pulled in by the crowd's energy. Dad! Jamie called again, louder this time. Mike turned, and their eyes locked, an unspoken connection flickering between them, yet still tinged with hesitation. Hang on a second. Mike yelled back. Jamie glanced at Lily, who squeezed his hand tightly, her expression brimming with sheer determination. Let us make our move, he said, hoping to close that gap before the world took his dad away again. They weaved through the crowd, hearts pounding as he caught snippets of conversation. Is it true? Someone asked excitedly. They say it's going to be huge. But Jamie barely registered the whispers, his focus remained on Mike. They reached the edge of the crowd just as the mayor raised his voice again. Everyone! He announced, tonight, we have something special for you. An unexpected gift. A chance to bring our community together like never before. Jamie felt his heart skip. Was this some sort of celebration? A reminder of what they'd lost? Just then, the stage lights dimmed, and the mayor gestured to the side. As another figure stepped into the spotlight, the crowd erupted. Jamie squinted, feeling a mixture of dread and curiosity claw at his insides. Music swelled, and there, in the light, stood an old friend from high school, Sam. Sam had left town after graduation, chasing dreams that had taken him far and wide. Jamie knew he'd kept in touch with Mike. "Hey everyone." Sam's confident voice rang out, filled with joy that pushed through the crowd like a breath of fresh air. "I've come back with a plan to bring us all together again, in honor of those we've lost." Jamie felt a strange warmth at that idea, but the pit of anxiety in his stomach was growing heavier. "Dad, we need to talk, now." The urgent whisper slipped from his lips, almost drowned out by the cheers around them. Mike seemed to hear him though, his brows furrowing in concern. "Just give me a minute, Jamie." "No." Jamie's voice cut through the revelry, caught in the swell of emotion. "We have to talk now." Everyone began to turn their attention, eyes flicking back to them. Jamie felt exposed, a hot blush spreading across his cheeks. Panic gripped him. What if he ruined this special moment for everyone? Yet, the truth clawed its way to the surface. Within him, the urgency screamed that before they could heal, they needed to face their pain, not hide it. "This is important." He pressed, voice shaky but loud enough to make Mike stop. The warmth of the crowd was still there, but now there was a ringing silence, a moment of stillness where Jamie could lay bare the heaviness they all carried. Then it happened. Just as Mike opened his mouth to respond, a sudden shout erupted from behind them. Jamie turned, and there, through the outskirts of the crowd, was someone dressed in a long coat and hat, moving toward them with purpose. Something in the figure looked eerily familiar, an unsettling wave pulling at his gut. The air crackled with electricity, anticipation hung in the atmosphere. Jamie's heart raced as he wondered who this person was, and just what they would mean for his family. "Wait, who is that?" Jamie breathed, as the figure stepped into the light. The crowd gasped as recognition washed over Jamie's face. But what he never expected to see formed a crashing wave of emotions ready to break. He took a shaky step closer, uncertainty flooding him. Was it really life circling back around? Jamie stood frozen, the world around him fading into a blur as his eyes locked on the figure stepping into the spotlight. The recognition hit him like a thunderclap, and 1,000 memories came rushing back, flooding his mind with laughter, tears, and a whirlwind of emotions. "Is that Mom?" he whispered, his heart spiraling with disbelief. The woman who had left them years ago, the woman he thought he'd never see again, stood there, just inches from him, under the bright lights, looking strikingly familiar yet somehow different. The crowd shifted, surprised and confused. Whispers rippled through the audience. "Is that Clara?" "No way, right?" Faces that once brimmed with joy turned to expressions of uncertainty mirroring his internal turmoil. Mike's voice trembled, barely a sound. He seemed caught between elation and despair. "Dad, is that really her?" Panic edged Jamie's voice. Dread weighed heavily on him as memories of painful scenes unfolded. The night spent waiting for her calls that never came, the tough conversations they had about loss and moving forward. "Clara." Mike stepped closer, an unreadable expression crossing his face, a blend of hope and fear. "Is that you?" She smiled, a soft, warm smile that used to wrap around their anger like a blanket. But in that moment, it felt like a mask concealing something deeper. "Hey there, Jamie. I'm back. I came to make amends," she said, her voice carrying across the crowd, a mixture of confidence and vulnerability. "Make amends? After how you left?" Jamie's voice cracked. The weight of her absence pushed against his chest like an anchor. How could she just waltz back into their lives as if she hadn't shattered everything? "I know it's a lot to take in," Clara continued, her eyes glistening under the stage lights. "I've missed you both so much. I can't change the past, but I'm here to try and be part of your lives again. I've thought of nothing else." His stomach churned. Around him, whispers faded to silence, the crowd was hanging on her every word, caught up in the unfolding drama like spectators at a live show. "Mom, it's not that simple," Jamie replied, forcing himself to hold her gaze. "You can't just show up and think everything is fine. We've been trying to move on." His voice was laced with a mixture of anger and yearning. "Maybe I can't fix everything, but I'm here now. Please, just give me a chance to try," Clara pleaded, her gaze softening with genuine desperation. All around them, the crowd reacted. Some nodded in sympathy, while others pouted, exchanging looks of skepticism. Jamie felt as if the ground was shifting beneath him. This was a reunion he never dreamed would happen, and yet, here it was, both a gift and a twist of fate he wasn't sure he wanted. Mike stepped forward, his expression torn between hope and dread. "We need to talk, Clara. All of us," he said, masking his turmoil with determination. "In private." Jamie glanced at Lily, who squeezed his hand tighter. Her eyes were wide, emotions swirling, clearly feeling the weight of the moment too. Whatever they had shared as a family would never be the same again. Clara took a step back, as if the word private stung. "You're right. I understand. I'll be here." Jamie's heart raced, drawn to her but feeling torn in two different directions. The truth he'd buried deep within himself clawed its way to the surface. How could they move forward in the face of their past? Just as silence fell around them, another sound broke through the distant ringing of a bell from the old town clock tower. The hour was approaching, and Jamie knew he had to confront himself amidst this whirlwind of change. What happens now? He thought, his stomach tightening. The night could take any number of turns, and he couldn't help but feel a mix of dread and anticipation. As he stared at Clara, waiting for the answers that may or may not come, the very fabric of their family felt ready to unravel or knit itself together anew. Was this truly a chance to heal, or was it simply a reminder of all that had been lost? He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of decisions ahead. Whatever happened next would change everything. "Are we ready to have this conversation?" he asked, his voice steady but vulnerable, challenging the moments that lay ahead. And just then, a sudden commotion broke out behind him, pulling everyone's attention away once again, signaling that their story was far from over. Jamie felt his heart pound as the crowd shifted, a wave of murmurs moving like a living thing. The sudden commotion had come from the back of the auditorium, where a group of teenagers erupted into laughter, their boisterous energy a stark contrast to the fragile tension hanging in the air. He turned his head, curiosity almost pulling him away from Clara's gaze, but he shook it off, determined to focus on what mattered most. "Can we just have a moment?" Jamie's voice broke through the noise, sounding more forceful than he intended. He felt desperately adrift in a sea of emotions, and he needed to anchor himself. As he looked back at Clara, her features softened under the spotlight, but something else lurked beneath the weight of so many unsaid words hung heavy between them. "I need to understand why you came back now," he pressed, his tone softer but no less resolute. "Did you really think we would just accept you with open arms?" Clara took a shaky breath, the mask of calm slipping. "No, Jamie, I didn't think it would be easy. I just thought maybe you'd want to hear me out." She stepped closer, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I want you to know that leaving you was the hardest mistake I ever made. And I'm ready to make it right, whatever that looks like. But do you even know what that means?" He shot back, anger stirring within him. "You can't just expect us to forgive and forget. We've built a life without you. What makes you think you can just walk back in?" Before Clara could respond, his dad, Mike, intervened, stepping in to diffuse the rising tension. "Jamie, let her speak," he urged softly, trying to maintain a calm demeanor, though Jamie could see the uncertainty in his father's expression. "We owe her that much." The crowd hushed, each person sensing the profound nature of the moment. Jamie felt a mix of dread and curiosity as he considered his dad's words. Could they really owe her anything? Please, I know I don't have any right to ask this, Clara began, her voice trembling, but I want to hear about your lives. What have you both been up to? What have you dreamed? I can't imagine what it's been like without me, but I need you to let me in just a little. The instant Clara spoke about dreams, Jamie's heart clenched. He remembered the long nights spent with Lily, whispering big plans for the future, and how those aspirations felt eternal back then. Yet each dream also carried the weight of his mother's absence, a gaping hole in the future he had mapped out in his mind. Do you even care about the life we've led? He countered, his voice low but heavy with emotion. Do you care about what we had to overcome after you left? I do. I've followed everything from a distance, Clara replied, desperation creeping into her voice as shadows of regret flickered in her eyes. Every holiday, every birthday without you. I'm just terrified of coming back and finding I've missed everything, that I'm a stranger to you both now. But I'm willing to put in the work if you'll let me. With every word, Jamie felt the knot in his stomach grow tighter and tighter. His mind was a whirlpool of doubts and hopes. Could she really be sincere? Could they truly build some kind of future together when the past lingered like a ghost? The distant tolling of the clock was relentless, marking the passing time not just for the town beyond but for the fragile moment hanging in the air. It echoed in his heart like a warning bell, each chime a reminder that they were running out of time to make a choice about the future. As Jamie looked into Clara's eyes, he could almost see through the years of hurt, confusion, and pain. Yet, could he actually believe in what she was promising? Or was it all just fleeting words, ripe for disappointment once more? Let us talk, he finally murmured, words filling the space between them like an unsteady bridge. But I want to know the truth, the whole truth. And just then, another commotion erupted at the rear of the hall, pulling Jamie's attention away again, causing his heart to race. Something was shifting in the air, and he knew they couldn't let this chance slip away. But what could possibly come next that would shake this moment even further? The noise from the back of the auditorium rippled through the crowd again, pulling Jamie's focus. It was a chaotic eruption of laughter and shouts, but this time, it felt different, charged, almost electric. Jamie glanced over, his heart pounding harder in his chest. Was this a distraction or something more? Clara's expression twisted with worry as she shifted her weight from one foot to the other. Jamie, please. She urged, her voice barely above a whisper. He shook his head, torn between the chaos and the storm of emotions still roiling inside him. The murmurs around him grew louder, people craning their necks, their attention snagged by whatever else was unfolding. Somehow, this felt significant, as if whatever was happening might either shatter this fragile moment or strengthen it. The commotion intensified. A figure, unsteady on their feet, burst through the audience. Jamie squinted, recognizing the tousled hair and worn jacket. It was Lily. What is she doing here? Jamie murmured, a mixture of confusion and concern swirling inside him. Lily's eyes scanned the crowd, finally locking onto Jamie. When their gazes met, a spark ignited within him, momentarily dimming everything else around. But that spark came with a rush of dread. Why was she here now? Had she come to add to the emotional upheaval, or was it something more? Jamie stepped closer to Clara, instinctively stepping away from the chaos, wanting clarity amid the erratic atmosphere. What is going on? He asked, his voice a mix of frustration and worry. Clara's brow furrowed, and she whispered, I think it's important. Just wait. Lily reached them, breathless, clearly frazzled from pushing through the crowd. She paused, her hands on her knees, trying to catch her breath. Jamie searched her face, hoping for a reason, an explanation that would make sense of this sudden intrusion. Lily gasped, eyes darting between Jamie and Clara. I heard. I didn't know she was here. I had to come. There was urgency in her voice as if she believed everything could tip over at any moment. Jamie felt the colors of the room bleed into one another. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. Instead, everything began to bubble beneath the surface, years of hurt, confusion, and memories flooding in. His heart ached, recalling moments shared with Lily, adventures they carved out, all the dreams they had weaved together. But now, here stood Clara, and Lily's presence felt like a storm brewing. "Why does she matter so much?" Clara asked, her tone sharpened by jealousy and fear. "What does she want?" Jamie took a breath, processing the slew of emotions crashing in like waves, threatening to pull him under. "Lily, she's been with me through everything." His voice was steady, yet tinged with uncertainty. "She knows what we've gone through. I can't just turn my back on that." "But I'm here," Clara insisted, please rising in her voice. "I'm fighting for us, for our family." The words hung in the air like a heavy fog. Jamie could see the desperation in Clara's eyes, the fight that still clung to her despite the distance they traveled apart. Yet standing next to her, he felt the weight of Lily's unwavering support. The love they shared may have been reshaped, but what did it mean against the phantom of his mother's absence? Tension crackled, filling the air, and Jamie realized time was slipping through his fingers like sand. He was caught between two powerful forces, each vying for his heart, each holding fragments of his past and the future he dreamed of. "Lily Clara," he started, voice strained as the world shifted around him. What if before he could finish, the hall suddenly turned silent? The anticipation was palpable. Every gaze fell on Jamie, hoping for answers, some kind of resolution to the turmoil, but in that moment, with everyone watching, he felt a surge of doubt. "What if I can't be what you both need?" The words spilled out, raw and vulnerable. "What if it's too late for any of us?" The crowd held its breath, tension clinging to the air. Jamie's heart raced. What path would he choose, and who would he let inside his heart this time? Would he risk opening up, or would he choose to stay guarded, hiding behind walls built from past hurt and heartache? As those questions loomed over him, uncertainty rippled through Jamie. The moment was charged, and he realized that the decisions made now could change everything forever. "Why can't I just have a clear answer?" he thought as he looked back and forth between Clara and Lily. And just when he thought he found the courage to decide, the door at the back of the auditorium swung open once more, heralding another unexpected arrival, and Jamie's heart sank. What awaited him now? Jamie's breathing quickened as he felt the weight of new eyes in the room. The door creaked all the way open, and in walked a figure he hadn't seen in years. It was his father. A mix of familiar love and unresolved tension flooded through him, making it hard to process the chaos occurring all around. "Dad," Jamie breathed, the connection pulling at his heart. He hadn't expected to see him here, not tonight, not in this moment. It felt like the ground had shifted beneath him, creating a new chasm between everything he thought he understood about his family and what he felt inside. His father looked older, the lines on his face deeper, but the core of him remained the warmth in his eyes, the voice that had once comforted Jamie during tough times. Yet now, that warmth felt tinged with anxiety as he scanned the frustrated trio before him. "What is happening here?" His father's voice broke through the tension like an explosion, drawing everyone's focus. And just like that, all eyes moved from Jamie to the man who had once been a hero in his life, only to fade away into the shadows of disappointment and distance. "Dad!" Jamie blurted out, urgency creeping into his tone. Clara stepped forward, brushing a stray hair behind her ear. "We were just what?" His father interrupted, frustration breaking through his composed exterior. "You were supposed to be moving on. Why are you stuck in this mess?" The air thickened with unspoken feelings. Jamie could feel Clara's eyes darting between them, witnessing the unraveling confrontation. Lily stood off to the side, looking bewildered yet attentive, as if this was something she always knew would happen. "Because it's not that simple," Jamie shouted, his voice echoing back at him. "You think I can just erase my past? You think it's easy to forget? Stop!" Clara urged, stepping closer to him, taking his hand and giving it a gentle squeeze. "This isn't helping." But Jamie's gaze remained locked on his father, the anger and hurt surging through him like a wild river. "You walked away. Do you know how that felt? You made it seem like family didn't matter. I had to find my own path, Jamie. His father shot back, his voice rising. I was lost. I thought it was what was best for us. At what cost? Jamie's heart ached at the bitter truth. I wanted you back. There was a long silence where the exchange hung in the air. The crowd pricked up their ears, reeling from the intensity charging between father and son. Lily shifted anxiously, and even Clara looked unsettled, her grip on Jamie loosening slightly. Then let me help, his father said, his tone lowering as he stepped forward. I can't fix the past, but maybe we can start over, together. Start over? Jamie shook his head. You can't just waltz back into my life and expect everything to be okay. It's complicated. It always is, his father replied softly, hands outstretched in a gesture of openness. But I want to be there for you, Jamie. I'm here now. Let us talk. Jamie looked between Clara and Lily. The conflict stirred anew, disbelief washing over him like a wave. How could he choose when everything felt like it was pulling him in so many directions? Can we really just talk? Jamie asked, his voice softer, the anger dissipating like fog. What if I don't even know what I want? His father stepped even closer, sincerity flooding his eyes. That's a good starting point. It means we're ready to figure it out. Jamie's heart raced again, this time not from fear, but from the glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could work through the fractures of their past. But did he have the strength to face all of them at once? Then, breaking the fragile moment, another loud noise erupted from the back. Eyes turned, gasps echoed through the room again, pulling away the intimacy they had created. What new chaos had come to disrupt their uneasy truce? The crowd murmured in anticipation. Jamie's stomach twisted again as he wondered if he could really handle another surprise tonight. Then, the door swung open fully, revealing a figure Jamie recognized all too well, someone he had never wanted to see again. His heart sank as dread pooled within him. Would this make or break everything they had fought for? Jamie's breath caught in his throat as the figure stepped into the room. It was Chris, his older brother, the one whose reckless choices had sent their family spiraling years ago. As the door creaked shut behind him, a hushed silence fell over the crowd. Jamie hadn't seen Chris in ages, not since the incident that had torn the family apart, leaving wounds so deep they had scarred over but never truly healed. What are you doing here? Jamie's voice trembled, a mix of anger and fear spilling out. Chris had been the catalyst for so much pain, and now, in this fragile moment of reconnecting with his father, it felt like a dark cloud had swooped in to overshadow everything good that was trying to emerge. Jamie, just hear me out, Chris said, his tone urgent but steady. He looked older too, lines etched on his face that spoke of hardship. Yet there was something softer in his eyes, a glimmer of vulnerability that Jamie hadn't seen in years. I know I messed up. I've made so many mistakes, but I'm back. I need to talk. Talk about what? Jamie shot back, the anger boiling inside him. You think you can come back after all this time and just expect me to listen? You hurt us, Chris. I know, Chris lowered his gaze, guilt shifting through his posture. But I've been trying to change. I want to be better. For myself and for you guys. I'm here to make amends. The words hung in the air, momentarily silencing the murmurs of the crowd. Clara's grip tightened on Jamie's hand, squeezing it as if to say, let him speak. But Jamie was torn. Could he really trust Chris? After everything? Lily, usually so quiet, stepped forward. Maybe we should hear him out, Jamie. Her soft voice implored him to consider the possibility of redemption. Jamie's chest tightened. Part of him wanted to slam the door on the past, keep Chris out for good. Yet another part wondered if there was a chance for something different this time, something better. With a measured breath, Jamie turned back to Chris. You hurt us when you left. You hurt Dad, too. He gestured toward their father, still standing there uncertain, caught between his sons. Do you even know what that did? I know, Chris said, the crack in his voice palpable. And I've lived with that every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness right now. I just want a chance to explain, to show you the person I'm trying to be, the brother I want to be for you. Jamie searched Chris's face. He wanted to see sincerity, but all he could feel was fear. Fear of being let down again. He took a step back, the room feeling suddenly too small. You think we can just go back to how things were? That I can simply forget? Maybe we can't go back, Chris replied earnestly, but we can move forward. Together. If you want. Silence layered over them, thick with uncertainty. Clara and Lily shifted, waiting for Jamie to respond. And for a wild moment, he found himself standing at the edge of something new, something terrifying yet thrilling, a possibility for forgiveness, even if it felt like standing in the ruins of a once cherished place. Just as Jamie opened his mouth to reply, in walked the sound of laughter from a group of friends just outside. They were unaware of the emotional storm inside. It broke the tension and drew their attention outward, like a fresh breeze cutting through a stifling room. Jamie caught his father's eye, and for a heartbeat, something unspoken passed between them. Could this really be the beginning of healing? But before he could ponder further, another familiar voice came from behind Chris. One he recognized all too well, sending shockwaves through him. There was no way this could be happening too. What other surprises awaited them here tonight? Would they be able to confront what loomed larger than themselves? Jamie felt his heart race as he recognized the voice. His mind raced through a blur of memories, each one intertwined with warmth, laughter, and a deep sense of protection. But that voice was also tied to loss, a haunting echo of what had once been. Stepping into view, just behind Chris, was Sarah, Jamie's childhood best friend. Her arrival felt like a lightning bolt igniting the air around him. Sarah? The word escaped Jamie's lips, a fragile whisper tinged with disbelief. Why was she here? The memories flooded back, summer days at the park, secrets shared under the stars, the promise of forever friends. But those memories had shifted when everything went sideways. The distance between them had felt like an ocean. Jamie. She stepped forward, her eyes wide with surprise and concern. I had no idea. Chris looked between them, the tension in the room thickening like fog. This night just got bigger than I imagined, huh? He attempted to joke, but laughter didn't surface. Jamie struggled to keep his emotions in check. It felt like old wounds reopened, each flicker of familiarity igniting the pain of their shared past, pain that had left Jamie isolated. Why are you here? Jamie's voice wavered, the bitterness creeping back in. After everything? We always said we'd be there for each other, no matter what. Sarah's voice was soft yet strong. I heard you might need someone tonight. Chris shifted uncomfortably, his earlier resolve now bubbling into despair. I get it. This can't be easy for any of us. But maybe that's the point. Jamie felt Clara's hand tighten around his, grounding him, yet he still felt like he was standing on a precipice. Trust was a fragile thing, and the weight of the moment was almost too heavy to bear. How do you expect me to trust you? He demanded, pointing between Chris and Sarah. You both left. Not by choice. Sarah exclaimed. Things just fell apart. I didn't know how to handle it. You weren't just losing a brother, Jamie. We were losing each other. I can't pretend that I didn't feel that pain. I can't just forget. He shouted back, the frustration bursting forth like steam escaping a kettle. You don't know what it felt like. It was like drowning. Silence enveloped the room as those words sank in. Jamie glanced around at the faces watching them, each one holding a reflection of his turmoil. The weight of shared grief hung thick, but, beneath it, something deeper stirred, a longing for connection. I'm not asking you to forget, Chris finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. I'm asking you to give me a chance to show you I've changed, to show you I care about this family. About you. And if you let Sarah in too, maybe we can all start to find our way back." The room crackled with tension. Jamie felt his heart racing, a mix of anger and hope. Could he allow these people back into his life? Were they really ready to confront the past, to face the truth of what they had lost together? Taking a deep breath, Jamie's gaze flitted between Chris and Sarah. Could this night be the long-awaited shift? The beginning of something new, something healing? As he prepared to answer, a sudden commotion erupted from outside, a loud crash reverberating through the venue. Jamie's heart sank. What fresh chaos awaited them now? With everything already teetering on the edge, he wondered if they would be able to confront yet another struggle. Even more so, would they come together if faced with the unexpected again? The sudden crash yanked everyone's attention, snapping Jamie out of the emotional whirlwind. People turned, eyes wide with shock, and whispers of concern rippled through the crowd. Jamie's heart raced. Just when it felt like they might be finding a path to healing, something else threatened to unravel it all. As he glanced toward the door, he felt a surge of protectiveness, a drive to make sure everyone was safe, especially Lily, who still stood at his side, her small hand trembling in his. Jamie exchanged a quick look with Clara, who seemed ready to spring into action, her face set with determination. "Stay here," he urged Lily, before making a beeline for the entrance. The buzz of voices turned into a hum of uncertainty as Jamie pushed through the crowd, his heart drumming in his chest, fueled by an instinctive need to shield those he cared about. Outside, his pulse quickened as he stepped into the cool evening air. There, sprawled on the ground among fallen crates and scattered decorations, was the local troublemaker, Danny, and his gang. They were laughing too loudly for the situation they had just caused. It didn't seem right. Jamie's fists clenched at his sides, but he took a breath to steady himself. "Danny!" Jamie shouted, feeling the weight of the growing crowd behind him. "What is wrong with you?" Instinctively, the zip of anger and fear surged through him. Hadn't they all dealt with enough drama tonight? Yet there they were, a mockery of joy, throwing everything they could find like it was all just a game. Danny looked up, grinning like he didn't have a care in the world. "Just giving everyone a show, Jamie boy. What's a party without some excitement?" His friends snickered, oblivious to the tension and seeking only to escalate it. "This isn't a joke." Jamie stepped closer, trying to suppress the anger bubbling within. "You need to clean this up now." As Danny opened his mouth, Jamie felt the warmth of Clara's presence behind him. "Let me," she said softly, stepping beside him, her courage like an anchor. "You know how to bring people together, right?" Danny's teasing expression faltered momentarily, surprise flickered through his eyes. Jamie felt a shift, a chance to address the chaos with unity. "You want a show?" he called out, raising his voice for everyone to hear. "Let's make it one worth remembering. Why don't we all work together?" The crowd behind Jamie shifted, murmurs of agreement rippling through them. "If you want to be part of this community, then show it. Help us come together. Stop acting out, and join us." Jamie watched as surprise morphed into curiosity among the crowd and soon turned into energy filling the square. He caught Clara's eye, her grin radiated hope. Danny's smirk changed as he took a step back. "Fine. But I'm not doing it for you, Jamie." "Doesn't matter why you do it," Jamie replied with determination. "I just need you to be here." As the group of teenagers took hesitant steps into action, clearing away the debris, the energy shifted. Jamie's heart swelled with renewed purpose. "See? We're stronger together," he called over to the crowd, drawing their attention. "That's how we heal. If we can put aside our pasts and recognize what's in front of us, we can ignite something beautiful." And in that moment, a ripple ran through the crowd as people began to join in, laughing, sharing. The evening shifted from confrontation to camaraderie. Jamie felt Clara's hand rest on his shoulder. "You've got this, Jamie." Her words were lilting, wrapping around him with warmth, mirroring the change in atmosphere. Beneath the glow of the lights, Jamie took a moment to breathe. For the first time in a long time, a sense of calm washed over him. Nearby, he caught Lily's proud smile, and it flickered warmth through his chest. Would these small moments be enough to mend their broken family? Facing Chris and Clara and sharing space with those who had moved away, they all had their journeys, their scars. But in rebuilding together, they could form a new foundation, fragile and imperfect yet full of love. As laughter and collaboration filled the square, Jamie took a deep breath. The night wasn't about running away from their past, it was about strong steps toward moving forward. Looking back at Clara and Lily, who were both watching him with glimmers of admiration, determination coursed through him. Friends began to gather around, an added circle of support, the chaos replaced with joy. Together, he said, stepping forward, making sure to lock eyes with everyone present, this is our chance to redefine who we can be as a family, as a community. And in that moment, something began to heal deep within, stitched with threads of forgiveness, understanding, and a promise for tomorrow. The ghosts of the past felt lighter as Jamie took a step closer to Clara, vulnerable yet confident, inviting conversation, reclaiming the narrative. This was just the start, an exhale after the storm, a whisper of hope. It was a moment that could change everything, and he knew they would find their way, together. Now was the time to rise, to believe. And you need to subscribe now, don't wait not even one more second to share this incredible transformation. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm. Comment below with your thoughts. How did this story impact you? What emotions ran through you? Finally, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this narrative of healing and connection. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these empowered actions.